Okay, Montgomery students, grab this sheet, this handout, which you should always have for these videos. We're going to talk about in this video a 4-string, 5-string, and 6-string G chord. The nomenclature there comes from the fact that you use 4 strings, 5 or 6, depending on which form of the G chord that you make. Now, the first thing that you need to know is, what is G chord? A G chord is a G note, a B note, and a D note. And if you take this sheet here, you go down on column 1 and find G, the G note. That will tell you that we're now in the scale or key of G, and what the do re mi scale of that of the G note is. And then you go over or follow that row across, and until you hit the column that has Roman numeral 3 at top, and you'll find that for G, for the key of G, that is a B. That means the third of the scale of G is a B. And if you continue across that row to a 5 Roman numeral on top of the column, then you'll see that that note in a G chord is a D. So you want to play a chord that has G's, B's, and D's in it. Other notes are not part of that chord, so they don't count. You don't use them to make a G chord. You can use it to make varying forms of a G chord, but for the moment, right now, we're just interested in G, B, and D. The pure triad, as those 3 notes are called the chord triad. Triad means the 3 notes that define the chord. So if you're ever asked in the test, what's a G chord? It's a G, a B, and a D. You've got 100% right there. So the way that you want to make that, or the 6-string G chord, the full G chord, which gives you the most volume, is, and this is still difficult for me since my finger operations, but I will fight through it. You put your ring finger on string 1, fret 3. That's a G note. You can validate that. I'll do it right now. Open string E on string 1, 1st fret F, 2nd fret F sharp, 3rd fret G. So we have a G right here. Whatever note you have on string 1 at that fret is the same note on string 6. And see the open strings, Eddie, A, dynamite, goodbye, Eddie. There's 2 E's in that. So these on the open guitar are both E, and any place along here, I have an A note, for instance, at fret 5, string 6, at fret 5, string 1, I have an A note, and so on and so forth right down the line. So you make a G chord, you put with 6 strings, one way that you can make it is by putting your ring finger, string 1, fret 3, and then your index finger at string 5, fret 2, and then your middle finger at string 6, fret 3. And you have a G chord. You can also make that G chord by putting your ring finger on string 6, fret 3, your middle finger on string 5, fret 2, your pinky on string 1, fret 3. You're holding down the very same notes. Please note that we're not doing anything different. I'm just fingering it differently. So I have the very same G chord made like this. And that's the sound of a G chord. Now, when you're starting off, you don't have the dexterity. You're likely not to have the dexterity to get to that G chord in time. You know, you go something like that, and you don't want to do that. You want to get there in time. So there are shortcuts that you can take, not shortcuts, but there are you have the ability to leave out a few notes on the extreme strings, on string 1 or on string 5 and 6, and I'll show you how you do that. You can make a 4-string G chord that enables you to go back and forth from a D to a G just like this, as long as you're only playing strings 1, 2, 3, and 4. See, I'm going from a D, here's the D, to a G, but I'm not playing strings 5 and 6. I'm playing the first 4 strings. That's a 4-string G chord. And you do that, at least to start, you do that to save time so that you can make those chord changes quickly. Instead of going, you don't have that dexterity yet, but that doesn't mean that you're prevented from playing a song. You can go D to a G, however you want to strum or whatever song you're playing. You can take the very same approach of, well, I'll play only strings, I'll play only strings 6 fret 3 and string 5 fret 2, and not play string, I'll not play string 1. See, I'm just holding these 2 down and not playing string 1. I'm being careful not to play string 1. I'm only playing really the first 6, 5, 4, and probably 3. But I get plenty of sound out of that, so I can go. So you notice it's a different sound of a G chord because you're at a different register. You're down here. You have a G note that is 2 octaves higher than this G note, so you get a different sound with this. But you can go, and I'm not playing the full G. I'm just playing strings 6 fret 3 and string 5 fret 2. And once again, if I can get to that, it enables me to make a chord change where I say, well, I'm not fast enough to get there yet. You want to strive to be fast enough to get there, but here's the surprise. There are many times when you don't want a full G chord, and that's in your future. But for the moment, you want to be able to do the school figures of making those chord changes quickly. The other thing that you can do is you can just put your ring finger on string 6 fret 3 and lay it over string 5. You hear how it's dead? I've got that deadened with the fleshy part of my finger. And do the same thing. Don't hit string 1. So I have, in essence here, I have a 4-string, another 4-string G chord, and I can go. And that has a very special sound. I think I showed you last week in class the Bo Diddley song that doesn't go from a D, but it goes from an A. I'm playing that G right here, what I just showed you, deadening string 5. So I just get this little stab. So, and you're perfectly welcome to try to do that. I'll do that formally someday in class because the strum is much different. But for the moment, I just want you to know there's 3 G chords, and you should get familiar with all of them, with the ultimate being, well, I can get to this G chord and I can play this full G chord, this 6-string G chord. And if I want to leave something out, I'm doing it not because of expediency for the song, but I'm doing it because it makes the song sound better, just like the Bo Diddley. That sounds better than, say, I don't want that whole sound in, I just want that little snap. So that's G chord, and work that into your practice expediently while you're trying to master playing a full 6-string G chord. Have fun.